26th, 2015. I'm in the process of smoking a pork butt. I selected a 6-pound, almost 6-pound, 5.9 pound smoked or unsmoked pork butt from Hy-Vee. You want to make sure you don't buy a previously smoked pork butt, but Hy-Vee had those nice fat sides. So what I did is I brought that home, I unwrapped it, put it fat side down in a Pyrex bowl. I made up my own rub, which consisted of chili powder, equal parts brown sugar and salt. I put some cumin in, some cayenne. I put in a little bit of paprika, just because I like the color, pulverized onions, and mixed it up. Slathered it with a little bit of just ballpark mustard, just a very, very small part of liquid smoke, a very tiny amount. And I made it nice and smooth, and then I, as evenly as I could, applied my rub, including to the bottom of the pan, so it could, the fat. I then secured saran wrap over the top of the Pyrex and let it sit for all evening. Put it away right before I made dinner, about 6 o'clock. So Dorothy's watching this video, she'd know she helped make dinner. Pretty much made dinner. But anyway, so what I'm doing here is I'm trying to compensate for the fact that I don't have a smoker. The reason I don't have a smoker is because my wife won't let me get one. Fair point. So what I do is I try to get a lot of smoke on there with hickory chips. Sometimes I even light them and set them in there, but I'm basically my own auger system to keep it from getting too hot. It tends to overheat, so you gotta watch it. I've been propping it with little hickory things to create more air and cool it down, and you just kind of get it to the right temperature. It's starting, I can tell the meat's starting to get warm because it's staying up in heat. So I'm just going to do that. And what I want to do is basically get my internal temperature to about 160 degrees. And once I get it at 160 degrees, I'm going to take that thing and I'm going to wrap it. And I'm going to wrap it and bake it. And I'm going to bake it at about 197, 98, because I want an internal temperature of 196. I'm going to bake it for, they say, rule of thumb, for each pound you want to smoke at about 225, 250 for about an hour. When I wrap it, I'm going to preserve those juices. I haven't done any injections or anything, just the dry rub. I'm going to wrap it and I'm going to actually bake it because it won't take any more smoke anyway after that internal temperature is at about 160. So right now I've been smoking it for about 3 hours. And I thought I'd just test the internal temperature. I only want to use one hole here. I've got my little meat thermometer. Stick it in. And that internal temperature is reading right now right at 100 and, can you see that, Michael?
175.
Yeah. So it's about ready. It's about ready to go. I've got pretty good smoke on it. I'm frankly going to have to finesse this because Mom's got the oven to bake her pie. So what we're probably going to do is just try to keep that temperature down and try to keep as much smoke on it as we can. You can see I have a box down here of soaked hickory, and I found that it doesn't get hot enough using this system to get smoked or soaked hickory. So you've got to just manually light stuff, get it smoldering, and then get the smoke going. It's an inefficient manner because did I mention that my wife, who is a very wonderful, very smart, kind, beautiful person, but she really doesn't think I need it. I'm now going to wrap this, preserve the juice, There's one layer. Get another layer. My plan is to bake this. But my plan is somewhat foiled because Dorothy is still baking her pie. So what I'm going to do is wrap it, and I don't really care. It's not. I can control the temperature fairly well in here. It's not going to take any smoke or anything. All I'm doing is getting that sucker right up to 196 internal temperature. So it's not taking smoke, obviously. It's wrapped, and it should be wrapped tight enough that I won't lose any of my juice in there. See, basically I'm going to take this and put it in there and to bake it in the oven shortly. But I can't do that until my bride has vacated the oven to bake. We only have one oven. This is not a professional kitchen. I'm a probate lawyer by trade. I'm not an engineer. But that's going to have to work till Mom vacates the right there. I'm trying to get to an internal temperature of 196, so in theory if it sits there long enough eventually it'll get there, and we're having lots of fun. We're getting towards the end. I have put my oven at 196 and I'm going to bake it for about 3 hours at 196. That's the ideal temperature that your meat will warm up to and sustain for a period of time to really melt all the fats and the collagens and make it very tender. So we want to keep it at this temperature for quite a while. And as I mentioned, my lovely bride doesn't think I need a smoker, so it's hard to control the temperature. So I idiot-proofed the whole process, and I am kind of an idiot, right, Worthy?
Yes.
So I idiot-proofed the process, and I just baked it. It won't take any more smoke, according to authorities, after it gets to 160 degrees. So I've wrapped it tightly to preserve juice, and now it's simply baking at 196. Sarah, any comment?
No. You're heating up my kitchen.
Okay. So anyway, Michael, did you get a good look at it there?
Yeah.
America? There is the pork butt right there. Plan is we're gonna bake that at 196 for about 3 hours. It was on the grill for about 3 hours, and then we're gonna let it sit and just sort of percolate its own juice for a half an hour before we serve it. Then we're gonna get the juice and recirculate that juice. Probably use that turkey baster, right, Worthy?
Yes, sir.
Use the turkey baster to recirculate it, and in a Pyrex and pour it over. So I'll use something that looks a lot like this, America.
Okay.
Any questions, Sarah? Sarah, the other thing about my technique is it's a good technique on a day like this. It's 97 degrees outside. My daughter Sarah was detasseling. What time did you leave this morning, Sarah?
5:30.
She left at 5:30 to go detassel corn here in we're in Lincoln, Nebraska.
We're gonna get killed.
So it's hot. It's hot, and so by moving the whole operation in here, I was able to get out of the heat into the air conditioning. I could use the whole smoking thing as a way to just sit out there and drink beer, but my niece and I are going to go fishing here in a few minutes, so I really can't drink any beer. I don't really want to when it's this hot. So that's about all I have to say. Check back when Dorothy helps me pull the pork. We're about 2.5 hours, and I'm cutting it into pieces, and Rick is going to pull it. This is, we got the internal temp up to 196 by putting it in the oven. It seems to me to be pretty darn tasty. I have not sampled it yet. But we're gonna have it pulled. Rick's gonna come back here and pull it. He's pulling it. You tried it?
I haven't tasted it. I'm just chopping it up or cutting it up into chunks.
All right.
It's hot. So
And then we'll pull it. We'll
you
pour
can't
the
really
juice
pull
back.
it when it's so hot. That's kind of cut it with a.
You want to just kind of.
I'm gonna have to kind of chop it into cubes because until it, either that or you gotta have some like rubber gloves. That's what I got. Buy the cheap rubber, box of latex. See right there? That's what you want. That pink smoke ring. That's the sign that it worked just right.